Hey dudes, so I was gonna have this be like a lazy upload, but I feel like that's kind of stupid and I don't want to do that because lazy uploads are just garbage. So I don't really know what to commentate about, so I'm just gonna talk about this season and pretty much anything encompassing that. Yeah, I'm kind of dry on stuff to talk about for post commentary, so I'm gonna try and do a lot more live commentary. Mainly because this season's been fucking boring as hell. Content-wise, there's nothing really too exciting going on besides this weird fucking Corridors of Time puzzle that I really don't care about. So I've been slacking on the uploads again. I don't really know why. Maybe because the queues have been a little rough on PC, where it takes like 12 minutes to get a quick play match. Or if I get a quick play match, it's against like 7 Asians and 2 of them are aimbotting or something like that. But that's a John, and I'm not gonna John because I don't John. But to digress, I'll kind of jump into the main topic line, which is this season, Season 9, Season of Dawn. This season kind of fucking sucks for me. I'm very bored. I find myself bored as hell. And I don't know why, because there's a lot to do. I think it's because a lot of the content is kind of redundant, if that makes sense. I wouldn't say redundant, that's probably not fair. It's boring and seemingly pointless. Some of the guns that are in are good, like Steel Feather Repeater, the new guns I'm referring to mainly, and some of the new random rolls are pretty cool. But it's like, you know, when am I going to use a Steel Feather Repeater? I think I used one for a commentary that I ended up scrapping because I didn't get 50 kills. Because I'm an elitist and masochistic. I have one Devil's Ruin, or whatever that weird sidearm thing. I have that cooking up. That was a pretty sick exotic. That's one of my favorite guns in the game. So I'm definitely going to try and get that one out through the pipeline. I want to see if I can upload for 14 days straight at the very least. I know I usually pull out the like once every 2 days at the bare minimum, once every 1.3 days. Sometimes that doesn't quite happen, especially when there's like quite dry droughts here. And I struggle to stream the game, let alone like make YouTube content for it. However, it's alleviating. It's alleviating. I don't hate the game by any means. I hate the PvP queues, man. They make me want to jump off of a very low bridge so that I don't injure myself at all. The PvP balancing isn't too awful. I'm probably gonna jump into that context now. Not a huge fan of sparebenders, but I'm using it recently just to get a high kill counter on it, just so that I can slam it. And people can't be like, oh, well, you don't even use it. It's like, yeah, I have 10,000 kills on this spare rations, kiddo. Get at me, nerd, or something, you know, like some shit like that. Like, I don't really take it that seriously. It's just, it would be funny to, you know, the guy who smashes spare ration and like talks mad shit on it has like 10,000 kills on it. It's just funny for me, I guess, in a weird, you're an idiot anti-hero kind of way. Aside from a few outliers in class balance, I think that the PvP sandbox is pretty heckin' good. I'm quite thrilled to seeing Season X is gonna be the like beginning of the new renewed Crucible focus or whatever. I'm quite thrilled to see where they go with that, and I'm hopeful. I'm really, really hopeful. I trust Bungie. I always have. So now I'm gonna jump into a topic that I've gone into on stream quite a bit. Check out the stream if you want. We have quite lucid conversations. That is how I would describe it, lucid. Continuing on, and that is what makes Destiny structured different from another MMO like WoW or RuneScape or Terra or whatever the fuck. And my critical take on this is some form of your grind being worth something rather than just worth time. If I farm a spare rations, it is worth time. It's worth nothing more. There's no currency attached to it besides the time I have invested. Is this necessarily a bad thing? No. But I would like to see some form of, like, okay, let me pause myself here before I get literally deleted by the Destiny community. I would like to see a scenario or a universe where a player on market or a player-centric market, such as like a auction house or grand exchange, whatever you may know it as, where things like random rolls and armor and stuff like that could all be sold. And I reckon we would bring in some form of, and this is arbitrary, some form of currency, like shards, like legendary shards or legendary marks would come back or something. And you got these for every activity dropped X. and you could use this as like a marketplace currency, even if it's just legendary shards or something like that. Because right now, the only thing that's really worth anything is like masterwork cores or ascendant shards, and even then, you know, you can't buy or sell those. So allow me to do a little exercise or postulation to your brain, if I may. Let's say that our Nightfalls are not restricted anymore. We can just boot up a Nightfall or boot up the Strike Director and run a strike at any difficulty. Nightfall not being match made, of course, as it currently is. And we have Nightfall modifiers be on a weekly rotator or something of that sort, similar to how the Strike playlist currently is. And we make our Nightfall exclusive drops go up by like, not up, but the drop rate decreases, so you are less likely to get it per run for X cycles. And we now make random rolls tradable. And fill in the blanks here yourself. I trust you guys to understand, and you know, again, fill in the blanks is what I can use here. By the way, back on the topic of this, our mindbenders, I think I was getting one, like it's a, I want to say like a 1 in 6 or 1 in 7 drop chance per loot. What if we made that go to 1 in 30? Or even 1 in, we'll take it extreme, we'll say 1 in 256 per drop slot, so that's 3 in 256 technically for each player, or not each player, but like each run for any player. But we have trading into the game, and we make the loot pool much smaller so that Mindbenders only drops very desirable rolls, like it can't roll anything but rifled or corkscrew or full choke. It can't roll anything but assault mag and accurized rounds. It can't roll anything but slide shot, quick draw, snapshot, and pulse monitor. And then we put that into the game. Same with things like spare rations farming, where if I get the 6 spare rations, we don't even have to modify the drop rate necessarily. We can just talk about, maybe I get the 6 spare rations, I can sell it on the market for 10,000 legendary shards or something like that. Or maybe you have good farmers and people who are really good at the game, and they farm Ordeal day in and day out for Ascendant shards, and they sell the Ascendant shards just as they would any kind of upgrade material in any other MMO. This is things I've thought about. I feel like this would kind of add a little bit of replayability and value to the game for me, because I noticed that this usually goes in tandem with you're buying direct upgrades to upgrade your gear, upgrade your character, upgrade your character's weapons, stuff like that. Whereas in this game, everything, the lines there are so blurred, where it's like the decider is this weapon archetype or whatever in the meta, and is it leveled up with your light level? Either way, I will probably elaborate on this topic a little bit more, maybe in another video. I just kind of had to fill in the gaps here because I had nothing to talk about. So yeah, look out for this one. I will probably make a nice little detailed video on what I mean with all this. This has been Chicken Choker 42 with the Sparebenders on Endless Vale, and we are out of here. Check out the rebranding.